Okay, Squirrel!
In the house.
In bed, together at last.
Together, facing each other.
I'm not facing you.
You're facing the TV. We've got side-on faceage going on.
We're in the studio.
In the studio that is Luigi's bed.
It's true. That's what I tell people.
It's true, it's purple. Living its life.
And we've got loads to talk about today on this lovely, sunny Sunday day. You'll be getting it not today probably, but you'll be listening to this through your ear holes. And we are going to kick things off with the big one. It's had a little bit of time to
settle.
For people to see it and stuff. Wonder
Woman.
Whoa man of Wonder.
Go
on.
My thoughts on the film. Yeah, man, she's hot.
She is hot. Alright, what's next?
That's it. So next we're going to talk about a bit of music.
Yeah, we've both been listening to Zeal Ardor.
No, seriously though.
Seriously, yeah.
18 minutes of the film.
She is hot.
She's really good and she's really hot.
Yeah.
And then other parts you're a bit like, would you?
Alright, is that... Go on, I'll let you carry on going until you think you're done.
That's my serious thing. No, but 8% of the film it's a good film. It's a good, origin story. It's a good... it's got something nice to it. Then it goes, bam! We're DC and we like to make some shit. And it goes all shit and explosions, like explosions everywhere and... yeah, man.
Okay, let me try and condense what Martin has just garbled for.
It went cray.
I think, largely similarly to him, it's a good film. I mean, it is Captain America the First Avenger in World War I with a lady. Almost exactly.
To the letter.
Almost, yeah. It follows a very, very well-trodden blueprint, which is fine, because they all do to varying extents. These modern mainstream tentpole studio extended universe feature films. Lots of words in that sentence. I think it's a good film. It's a charming film. The leads are very charismatic. They really surprise you. Who'd have thought it when Gal Gadot, a model, was cast to play Wonder Woman? I was one of the people going, why? Yes, but no, she's really inhabited it. She's got a genuine kind of screen presence and persona, and I think she absolutely nails the character, more so in this than she even did in Batman vs Superman, which she was one of the best things in, obviously. We get to hear that lovely cello theme tune come in again.
Which is quite aggressive.
I think it's badass. I agree with you. The film's quite long. It's about an hour, 2 hours and 20 minutes, maybe something like that. It's a long film.
It didn't feel like it for me.
And for me, like you say, I don't think it has. Paddy Jenkins, the director, also we should just This isn't what the film is, but it deserves mention that this is the first, mainstream, like I say, summer tentpole release superhero film directed by a woman. People say it's the first superhero comic book film directed by a woman. It's not. I take issue with that because a film I actually like quite a lot, Punisher Warzone, the third Punisher film, from
the one everyone remembers
from 2009. No, the one no one remembers. Punisher Warzone was directed by Lexi Alexander, the director of terrible films like Green Street and so on and so forth.
I enjoy Green Street.
Well, you're wrong. German director, but she did a really, really fine job on Punisher Warzone. I think that's a really underrated film with Ray Stevenson and everyone's favourite McNulty from The Wire.
Did it go straight to DVD?
No, it didn't actually. It did come out. It's extraordinarily violent. Really, really gets the comic book tonality and the violence of that character, I think, down perfectly. And there's a point where he literally punches through a man's face.
Oh.
Yeah, and I can't really argue with that. He deals out some serious gunishment and punishment.
Gunishment and punishment.
He deals out both. So, back on point. But yeah, this is the most expensive film, the highest budget film ever to be directed by a woman. It's the first superhero film to have a woman as the title role, as the lead character. So those are notable points, and it does deserve mention because it is, it's long overdue. I think many will, I think Marvel missed the boat on this, not having a Black Widow film earlier on. They could have.
I just don't know how it would have gone. Black Widow film.
How we said that about a number of
James Bond.
Yeah, do it as a kind of like
thing.
No, even darker, like more kind of like
Dark Angel in film form.
Kind of, but like, yeah, behind, sultry film noir espionage thriller. It'd be badass.
Yeah.
She could do it. Scarlett Johansson could carry it, no problem. But point is, back to Wonder Woman. Yes, it's a good film. It's well mounted. The stuff early on the Amazon's island, hypothema, or something like that, is all very nice. It looks good. It's got a kind of sense of itself. It's confident. I think it's a confident film. It's the first one where you go, no, they kind of know what they're doing here, as opposed to Suicide Squad had no fucking clue what it wanted it to be or what it was trying to do.
Yeah.
Batman vs Superman was obviously a mess, and this is the first of this DCEU film. Oh, again, Man of Steel kind of knew what it was, but it was bloated and portentous and up its own arse. Not an awful film, but right up its own arse. This is more confident, more whimsical, more charming. Rides a lot on the screen presence and charisma of Gal Gadot and Chris Pine as Steve Trevor.
I do not rate him as an actor.
I thought he was good in it. I thought he was very charming. I thought he was funny. All the comedy notes, I think they played off each other really well. I thought he's not my favourite Chris.
For some reason.
When you've got Chris Pratt, Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Evans, all in the Marvel cinematic
So he's straight
universe.
out of Star Trek.
Well, he plays Captain Kirk.
Yeah, straight out of it.
I mean, okay.
And in the first one, he gets beat up and his face is all swollen.
Right.
That's all I see is his face swollen all the time.
Okay.
And it disturbs me.
Okay.
Everything he does, he's got a swollen face, I believe.
Okay.
And I can't see past that.
Sure.
It's an issue I'm working on.
Okay. I'm gonna get on to my issues.
Go, carry on.
As opposed to his perpetually swollen face for yourself. I had more kind of integral issues with the kind of framework of the film, and like you said, the final 20 minutes, probably longer than that, probably the final the tail end of the film seems to be part and parcel of these DC films, has to have a big CGI infused and reliant battle that has to have huge explosions, totally of no significance or importance or weight. Giant, CGI fuckathon where two big characters smash into each other and things go flying and explode. And it goes on for a tediously long time. Really, really does. And this is where I find perhaps the issue with the film is I think there's a very, very good hour and 50-minute film in there. A very, very good one. What we get in the end is a good film. It has a framing to kind of lead it into the DCEU, which is at the beginning you kind of have Gal Gadot in modern day Paris, kind of going to the Louvre and finding a photo of her past, which kind of leads you into the narrative of her past. Don't need it. Just give me the story.
Yeah, that was not needed.
That's 5 minutes at the beginning, 5 minutes at the end. Cut that off. That's already 10 minutes gone. Okay, this is my theory. Cut 20 minutes out of that final battle at least. That's half an hour gone. Right. Too much slow-mo. That's a trait that the DCU...
They did go for that, didn't they? And it works the first few times, but then suddenly...
the first few times.
You just repeating yourself.
And that's something I feel that is a side effect of Zack Snyder's visual, stylistic approach that has been kind of now... that of the DC cinematic universe, which I think is just something that's kind of there. And I think we're probably going to have a bit more of something we do need to talk about, obviously, to do with the future of the DC EU is the fact that Zack Snyder's obviously stepped down from in quite tragic circumstances, which we don't really need to get into. But he obviously he's had some pretty horrifying family issues that's meant he's had to step down from directing Justice League only a few weeks from the end of shoot. But, if we can find a silver lining, which there isn't because it's pretty horrible what's happened. But in his stead, Joss Whedon, who obviously directed, the first two Avengers film, the best TV shows, from Firefly to Buffy to Dollhouse and things like that, really wonderful writer and great talent, is stepping on board to kind of help, finish off, ease off the end of shoot and maybe do some reshoots and things like that. Kind of doctor.
Maybe reshoot it all. That might be a good shout.
Let's give it a fair crack. It looks better. It looks better. But I think that's quite an exciting guy to have on board, and I'd like to see Paddy Smith. Paddy Smith.
Who's Paddy
I
Smith?
said Patty Jenkins.
Patty Burger.
I was thinking of Patti Smith as in the musician. I don't know why. Mine's drifting. I'd like to see her carry on with the character of Wonder Woman. I think she's proven herself the right choice as a director. But what I was saying is that slow mo, bit too much of it. If you keep 2 bits of slow mo, all the other bits of slow mo, put them in regular speed. That probably cut out another 15 minutes.
But then she
Boom,
doesn't
there
look
you
as
go.
powerful now. She just looks a bit like a Dragon Ball Z character.
No, I just think there's a lot of that flipping over things in slow mo, and it works, like you say, it works a few times, but it becomes just come and get on. Trust your choreography. Trust your direction. It doesn't need to be slowed down to make it look cool. She's doing pretty cool stuff anyway. So just give it room to breathe without making it slow and extended. So I think
she does look so cool that you slow her down, she just looks even better.
she does look great.
There were moments in it where I was looking at her just like, wow, yeah, she's beautiful.
She is an incredibly good-looking woman. They have a few jokes on that when they're putting her in the in all the clothes and that, and then at the end they put some glasses on her, and what's her name says, "Oh yeah, no, she doesn't look like the most beautiful woman you've ever seen," just because they've put some glasses on her, which was quite funny. But like I say, I think it's a good film. I think it's definitely, obviously by a mile, the best DC film we've had of this
Ever, I would say.
But what? Best DC film? Better than Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah, they're all shit.
Are you joking?
Let's move on.
Are you actually joking?
No, mate, I don't like them.
They're shit.
They're not very well.
They're not very well.
No, just not very well. It just annoys me that they're fist fighting while holding guns.
Okay. Well, that's a conversation for another day. To say Wonder Woman's better than Batman Begins or The Dark Knight, I think is mental, frankly. But
That's
sure.
me.
Like I say, I think you cut half an hour. Yeah, it's 2 hours and 21 minutes. Cut half an hour out of that film, it would be a really great film, and I think knocking on the door of an 8, maybe a 9. But in the meantime, I'm happy giving it a 7.
I would agree. 7's it's all right for a superhero film.
It's a really solid. It's it feels more like that. Lucy Davis, got to mention her, who's been in things. You know, she was in. She was in The Office and stuff, wasn't she? Back in the day.
Yes,
she plays Etta, his secretary, which are again some very funny gags of that the writing is good here, and there are some good one-liners, and like I say, Gal Gadot and Chris Pine, for me, carry those lines quite well. You've got Robin Wright in the early sections. Another, I think, criticism, and not to get into spoilers, is it seems part and parcel again with superhero films is the bad guys. You've got some crazy miscasting of very good actors who, in the end, get rendered into CGI jokes, which is kind of a shame. And I think again that's an issue that comes up in that overextended final battle. You got Danny Huston trying to do the best of a generic bad German general. It's a bit of a shame. Eugene Braverock who plays you've got
he's the chief, yeah.
and you've got Ewan Bremer and Said Tomak. I can't say that. They had a nice little round off. They had a lot of playing off each other, which I thought was cool.
The classic sort of mixed bag of
ragtag gang of
that's the one.
Yeah, I thought that was good. Who was the evil doctor? Was that Eleanor Anya?
Yes, Dr.
Maru, yeah, whatever. She was, again, I think her and Danny Huston did the same. They were both saddled with kind of generic villain roles.
That's it, there was nothing to them other than...
Yeah, they did the best they could. They did the best they could with it, but yeah, there wasn't much else to it, to be honest. But I thought it was, like I say, very good film, promising as well. Like I say, I'll give it a solid 7.
7 will do. 7 will do.
Oh, is that agreed? Are we agreed on that?
I'm happy with 7.
You happy with 7?
Yeah.
So you think all the Dark Knight films are less than 7s?
Yes.
You're off your rocker.
I fell off it and the leg broke.
if like on a technical level alone, those films are whatever you think of those. All those films on a technical level are at least eights. Like, oh, they're just you're crazy man. Anyway, what
Let's
else?
move on.
Let's move on.
What else? You've been watching a film.
I've been watching some films, yeah, mate.
What's this Colossal film?
Colossal is the new Anne Hathaway starring indie quirky drama dramedy as they call them slash giant monster movie kaiju battle film.
Really?
Yes. So, I don't want to give away too many spoilers because part of the joy is seeing how the film takes tonal shifts into quite areas that you might not have thought it was going to tackle or deal with. It goes quite dark. It's by a director called Nacho Villad. I have heard his name said
I think
multiple
it's
times.
cheese or Nacho's cheese.
Vigalondo. That's it. Nacho Vigalondo.
Nacho cheese.
And he, this is kind of his film. It was a bit of a Sundance darling, one of those quirky, like I say, quirky dramedies of a woman who is a journalist in New York City. She's been out of work for over a year. She's drinking, partying. Her boyfriend, played by lovely British Dan Stevens, is kind of fed up with her. Says, I'm done. You've got to sort your life out, whatever. So she decides to go home to her kind of small town beginnings, where she meets an old friend from school, played by Jason Sudeikis, who you'll know from things like Horrible Bosses and stuff. Here, playing a very much more complex and finely tuned than his quite broad comedy roles in things like Horrible Bosses and We Are the Millers and so on. But he, in fact, things don't get better. She moves back into her parents' house, which is she's on her own. She's sleeping on a blow-up mattress. She starts working for Jason Sudeikis at his bar, which only perpetuates this sad drinking, all through the night, stumbling home drunk in the morning.
As it does.
As it does. While this is going on the other side of the world in South Korea, in Seoul, or Seoul as they say.
Seoul,
I always want to say
Seoul.
Seoul, but it's Seoul.
Yeah.
There is a giant kaiju-like creature, Godzilla-like creature, that appears from nothing and wreaks havoc between the time of, say, 8 and 8:30 every morning.
Oh.
This natural phenomenon, this creature that appears, they don't know if it's, maybe a terror attack, but it is this giant monster. She, through the TV, realising that monster has certain kind of physical tics, that she also has this one where she scratches her head. She then works out that there is some form of parallel between this monster causing devastating chaos on the other side of the world, killing many, many people,
Right.
and her stumbling home drunk in the morning. There is a connection. How the story goes from there is, I think, bold and unconventional, and goes places, like I say, you would not expect. It goes to some pretty dark places, and it in fact becomes
Like cupboards with no lights on.
Yeah, sure. Becomes a comment more so on, obviously one's self-destructive capability, but then it almost becomes a story more of domestic abuse and domestic violence and emotional abuse and as well as physical. And it goes to, like I say, I'm not going to give away any of the other kind of plot machinations, but it does bring in other elements. And once all said and done, the kind of fantasy element wraps up in a way that's never going to quite be totally fulfilling or satisfying, just because it is so ludicrous and out there, and we're getting a bit moist together, aren't we?
We're connecting.
We're connecting. We're getting a bit clammy on each other. But don't let that put you off, that sexy image. Don't let that distract you. It's a very good film. It's very interesting. It's challenging. It is funny and charming, but it does some pretty cool things that I almost don't want to go away. I'd just say, if you have any interest in kind of quirky, like I said, I haven't seen anything like it this year. It's a good film, and if you're into that kind of, if you're looking for something a little bit different, a little bit quirkier, and a little bit maybe more confrontative, something that deals with things that could be quite close to the bone, but in quite a fun way that also has a giant monster.
Which everyone's winning with a giant monster.
Yeah, check it out. It's like I say, it's not what you'll expect at all, but it is enjoyable and thought provoking.
At all.
I give it a solid 8
Ooh,
out of 10.
that is a good.
It is a good.
You enjoyed it more than The Wonderful Woman.
Yes, it's a bit of a better film. It doesn't feel like there's nothing I do to it, to be honest. I think 8's, even if anything, being a bit harsh.
Ooh.
Do we do 0.5s?
No.
All right, it's an 8 then.
So then, there we are. I just want to quickly, I've just remembered, Black Panther trailer came out.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Have you seen it?
Yeah,
Fucking can't wait.
cracking soundtrack. Run the Jewels sounds really good. Yeah, it does look good. I mean, I'm excited for it. I'm always going to be excited. It's by what's his name that did Creed and Fruitvale Station. It's got obviously I'm couldn't be more hot for it, to be honest, in terms of what it's doing. Similar parallel to what Wonder Woman's doing, obviously, but in a kind of different kind of social aspect of having
Like a mysterious culture going on.
No, I mean what? I mean an all black cast, black director, black star in a.
Oh, what was Wonder Woman? Just completely white people.
Well, no, it was a woman star and a woman director.
Are there any black people in this film?
In Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Well, they did have a comment on racism in that. What's his name? The little Turkish guy said there was a line where he said, "Just because I wasn't the same colour as them." It does, to be fair, Wonder Woman picks out some relatively interesting stuff to do with the nature of war and violence and hate and so on and stuff like that. I thought was good, but yeah, no, the cast alone. Chadwick Boseman, obviously as Black Panther is awesome. We know that from Civil War. Total badass. One of the guys who stole the show last time around. So we know he's going to front. He's going to be the good a good front to any film. You've got Michael B. Jordan, who was in. I've been saying he's going to be the next huge thing. He seems like he's maybe going to be a bit more of a villainous character. Looks really cool in the trailer. He's got badass little mop of hair.
Looks a bit too much like I can't even think.
Anyway, and you've got Lupita Nyong'o, who obviously exploded onto the scene with her fierce, terrifying performance in 12 Years a Slave.
Is that the lady who was strapped to the tree?
Oh God,
that's a brutal scene.
My God, absolutely horrifying. It's by Ryan Coogler. That's it. The guy who did Fruitvale Station and Creed a couple of years ago. I think he's great. I think he's absolutely the dude to pick for this. He's already shown his stripes, and I couldn't be more excited. Saying that, I didn't get huge buzz off the trailer like a lot of people have. Like I say, I like what it's doing. I like who's in it. I like who's making it. I like the soundtrack. The tone of it, I'm not quite sold, and I think I'm just going to have to watch it.
I think it's very much going to be a bit of a filler film. Like Guardians of the Galaxy was a filler film. This is going to be a bit of a. Well, who is Black Panther, firstly?
Like Doctor Strange was.
Yeah, let's say that. It's going to be
I think
Black
Marvel,
Panther, but also welcoming Wakanda to the MCU.
I did like Andy Serkis at the beginning. His little interview. To be honest, I think I hate to say this. Because I have so much love and admiration for Martin Freeman and how big he's become.
Why is he in this film?
I thought he was. No, I really don't want to say it. I didn't think he was any good in Civil War.
No, I saw him as a bit of a comedic point. He's just there to be like, oh, it's him. That's kind of funny.
No, but it's not, because he plays it dead straight.
Yeah, I know.
I think his American accent is not good enough. I find it distracting. And I didn't, again, in this trailer, hearing that accent. And it's odd because, I don't know, Martin Freeman's such a good actor. And he's got such kind of wit with a glance alone, with a look. He doesn't even have to say anything. He's got so much. Here he's playing a dead straight FB, whatever, not military, but government official kind of guy. And it feels like he's got nothing of what makes him such a charismatic screen
I think he's
presence.
playing the wrong character.
He's playing the wrong character.
Bad casting.
And bad
and
accent.
I guess he's just in it just
to tie them
to
together.
be in a movie.
Yeah. For me, that was a little disconcerting to start it. But then Andy Serkis as what's his name?
Clawman.
Clawman, who lost an arm.
What's his name? Let's just call him One-Handed Bandit.
One-armed bandit.
One-Hand Bandit. So, as him. Obviously, Ultron decapitated that arm.
Yeah.
He plays.
Claw. Yeah, Ulysses Claw.
Yeah, there he is.
And Andy Serkis is great, and I'm happy to see him in anything. But I think it's still very exciting. I think it's going to be, like I say, outside of how good the film is, I think it's another important step for kind of the superhero genre, which, you know, ostensibly have been white men for as long as we can remember. I do think a bit of credit's got to be given. Again, it wasn't part of this whole extended thing, but Blade had a, you know, very strong black. He's an early black character, and that was in the late 90s. Those were, well, two of them were very, very good films. It's Marvel films, obviously, as well, technically, and not Marvel Studio, but but in terms of this new generation of superhero films, I think this is going to be a cultural touchstone, and like Wonder Woman should, and rightly so. Obviously, we hope they're good films in their own right. Wonder Woman is. It's looking good for Black Panther, and like I say, Marvel have got it down to such a formula that we don't have to worry too much about it. We know it's going to be a good film, don't we?
That's it. You know, they've got that backing to be like, well, it's going to be a 7 at least.
Yeah, I think that's true. Like, even when we complain, even when we have irks with some Marvel films, they're still 7s, aren't they? Yeah. What's the worst Marvel film they've done?
Iron Man 2?
I don't think that is, to be honest. I think Iron Man 2 is quite good. But when your worst films, like even The Incredible Hulk, which is the one that, because obviously he was recast, that is canon within this, Edward Norton's one.
Yes.
And that's still, to be honest, I still don't think that's a bad film. I still think that's I still give that about a 6. I think it's a good film still.
Yeah, I just know some of the scenes in Iron Man just got me like.
To be honest, I think Iron Man 1 and 2 are about on par. I don't rate the first one as much as everyone else does. I think they're both about 7s, 6 or 7s. I think, to be honest, I think Captain America, The First Avenger, I don't think it's a very good film. To be honest, I think I'd give that about a 5. A lot of people are big fans of that now. It's kind of had a real renaissance.
Yes.
I hear some people ranking that as one of their highest. I don't at all.
I enjoy watching it.
I think I don't like how it deals with the action sequences, merging them into these kind of CGI riddled montages, as opposed to giving me kind of solidly blocked and choreographed action sequences, which, you know, the Winter Soldier shows up in every respect, because those action sequences are solid and hefty, and you buy them. Whereas I didn't buy any of the action sequences in the first one. I didn't feel it had any real stakes, which is odd when you're watching a film about World War II. You feel there should be some kind of genuine
something on the line.
Yeah, something on the line, which obviously a lot was. I think Thor is possibly the underrated.
I enjoy the Thor films.
I think the first Thor film is very good. And again, Thor 2. Again, if we're going to rate them...
Dark World?
Probably one of the lesser Marvel films, but still a decent film.
Agreed.
I'd say, they've done nothing less than a... If I'm being nice, a 6. If I'm going to... But, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to watch The First Avenger again. Maybe give it another crack.
Swirl around it.
What?
You swirl around a film.
Anyway.
Add a bit of water into a bowl.
So, yeah. Black Panther, we're pretty hyped for it.
Yeah! That's man. It'll be sick.
New Spider-Man Homecoming trailer dropped.
That's out soon.
It's out soon. It looks good enough.
Is it the 2nd of July?
Is it?
Or the 22nd? Or just another number in July?
It's at some point in the next few months, isn't it?
It's going to be good. It's exciting. Interesting how they're going to go about it, especially with Sony trying to do their own little shenanigans.
Oh God, what are all these things we've been hearing about? A new Venom film with Tom Hardy. Ugh, don't know.
Tom gonna talk the same accent, Hardy.
Yeah, well,
that's what you been listening to,
mate? What did I get you to listen to?
Yeah, you got me to listen to some Zeal Ardors.
Some Zeal Ardor. The surprise breakthrough. Another surprise debut of the year. Zeal Ardor's first album, called Devil Is Fine.
Devil Is Fine.
That's kind of how it goes, isn't it? Zeal Ardor is essentially a one-man band, one-man show. Everything you hear on the album, he does himself. I was hinting at it the other week, but essentially it's this unprecedented blend of, you know, chain gang black American blues, you know, chain gang folk blues, which are kind of very iconic and have this kind of weighty historical context, which he mixes with kind of super straight up black metal, and it's a weird, bizarre, satanic witch's brew of two musical genres you'd never ever put in the same sentence, you know, let alone the same album before. But he does it in a way that is genuinely unprecedented. I've literally never heard anything like this album. It manages to mix this kind of accessible, catchy, you know, old school blues, this blues chanting, which he samples all himself, and he plays it and records it through very old mics to make it sound, you know, like he's sampling genuine music of the 20s and 30s, with this kind of like pumped up, distorted guitar riffs and screeching and screaming. It has this kind of swelling cinematic sense. Well, I mean, yeah,
it's swirling.
Swirling?
Swirling. Once again, it's swirling around an epic point of just, wow.
Yeah,
it gets you like the first song, "Devil Is Fine,"
which is pretty much just straight up. It's a chain gang chant.
And like you can imagine yourself there, just singing along with it.
You hear them. You hear the chains clinking. You hear the hammers coming down, and it's got a beat and it's got hooks, and you kind of get into it. But then in the background, he's got this swelling of kind of electronic sounds and things like that that build and become really anthemic and really cathartic. You feel like something's happening and it does have. And then when it does break into kind of an electronic interlude or some kind of big riff and a scream, you're kind of there with it, and it's accessible in a way that, you know,
someone like me will listen to it.
Yeah. When has there ever been a black metal album that you can play to your mum? Black metal, going back, is a kind of like, well, this Zeal Ardor's a Swedish man, and well, in Sweden there's where black metal and death metal kind of, well, no, black metal originated from, really, with bands like Emperor and Bathory, and then more recently bands like Behemoth, which, you know, dress in corpse makeup. You would never listen to it.
I wouldn't.
This is almost, if anything, it's almost kind of like an entry point. You take it on.
It's weed.
Yeah, if you're going on that bullshit thing that weed's an entry drug. But no, Zeal Ardor, you know, so it's this guy. I'm showing Martin a picture of him.
I've got a picture of him. He's got a yellow face.
That's just a photo. But it's this kind of, I don't know if you want to call it art metal. So he's doing something a bit more different, a bit more, but it is, like I say, it never stops being accessible. The album's only about 25 minutes long, so you can pop it on. You're in it for a ride. It takes you through these highs and lows, these like I say, these chanting moments, these electronic musical passages, these big riffs. And
it's got these moments where I think it's got 3 tracks on there which are just purely
instrumental
music box, little ballerina spinning around.
Yeah, but it's
still got that core of sort of like chanting epicness behind it.
It mixes in almost lullabies, almost kids' lullabies.
Yes, totally.
He's got, for me, some of the highlights. The 4th track, "Come On Down," I think is really powerful. That's it, "Blood in the River," and "What's a Killer Like You Gonna Do," or whatever it is. The one after it, where he sings a lot of, I don't know. I thought that was, "What's a Killer Like You Gonna Do" here, where he's got this, like, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Faith No More. Mike Patton does these kind of growly, dark, low vocals that sound really kind of like the way Zeal Ardor, the guy behind it, I'm gonna have to bring up his name because I can't remember it.
His name is Zeal Ardor.
Sure. He said the image that kind of gave birth to this style that he wanted to try out was an idea of this black slave chain gang way back when in America. Turning on their, well, it's actually, I think he was talking about African colonialists. So back in Africa, where the missionaries, the Catholic missionaries, were oppressing the populace, and it's this idea of these imprisoned slaves rising up, summoning Satan to rise up against their oppressors, which
Right.
is kind of quite an
Okay,
image.
yeah.
And that kind of having that image as the backbone of this album is fascinating. And honestly, like I say, if this is sounding quite odd, listen to it, because it really, anyone can listen to it, especially like with that opening track, "Devil Is Fine," the title track, which leads you into the album. Anyone can listen to it, and then it builds in these kind of big distorted guitars and a bit of screeching and stuff like that. But I think it's absolutely fascinating. The guy live, he plays with like a 4 or 5 piece band, but all the recording is what's his name, Manuel Gagneux. So he's he's from Switzerland. I probably said he's Swedish. He's from Switzerland. He's worked in a few different kind of musical projects for the past however long. But I think this is one of the breakthrough albums of the year. I thought
It's a fine piece.
Yeah, "Devil Is Fine" is fine.
Devil Is Fine, and that's Zeal Ardor.
Yeah, I give
That's
it.
like a Z Seal
Z Seal
and
Zeal.
a Ardor.
Yeah, I give it a 9, hands down.
9.
Yeah,
I'm gonna rate it up there. It's something new that I haven't listened to before.
something genuinely new.
Genuinely
You can't-
new.
And the only thing, God, what can you compare it to? It's like I think
Harry Potter theme tune.
I think if you like blues, listen to it. If you like Kasabian, listen to it. If you like Muse, listen to it. If you like heavy stuff like Behemoth or Emperor or Entombed or something like that, listen to it, because this is I think this is a kind of a branching out point for both people on the heavy side and on the non-heavy side. It's a kind of bridge, something that literally anyone can listen to.
And it just sounds like the sound is good. There's a purity to it.
yeah, like I say, I can't stress enough. It's accessible. Your mum might like it. I like it. You like it. And Martin, what's the heaviest music you listen to? Foo Fighters.
Mumford and Sons.
Mumford and Sons. Bloody hell.
When they get going there.
No. Okay, so basically, everyone go listen to Zeal Ardor. It's fucking great.
For sure. You've been you tried to watch Master and On.
Yeah, I really liked it. Watched one episode, really liked it.
We won't say any more.
Okay.
We spoke about this last time, didn't we?
You did. You said a fair bit about it, and I thought, you convinced me, and I think it's very, very good.
You just need to continue.
And I'm going to.
That's sick. What did I watch? I'm not going to remember the name of it now, but it might just be hip hop. There's a hip hop 4-part documentary on
Birth of
Netflix.
Hip Hop or something like that.
Maybe something like that. Just all about the
Evolution of Hip Hop, is it?
something. Maybe I can't remember. But yeah, it's a really interesting 4-part sort of stages of like everyone's opinion on things, where it grew from like disco in the late 70s and just what it became sort of to modern day. I kind of wanted it to continue on from, it sort of gets to the point where it's like NWA, and then it's sort of like Dr. Dre sort of break away from that, bringing in like Snoop, and that goes into like gangster sort of hip hop. I kind of wanted it to continue on for like 20 more years since then.
Evolution of grime and so on and so on.
Yeah. It's a really interesting 4-part. You sort of learn a lot, and you'll know some of the songs they're talking about, but then you get to see like the point of view from the originators of like this sort of background, sort of garden, sort of hip hop. Yeah, I've just stated that's the thing.
Do you mean like garage hip hop?
No, sort of the originators. So it all sort of the very first sort of MCs, and you see their point of view, where like the Sugar Ray, is it what they're called again? Sugar Ray Gang? No. Luigi, help me out here, man.
I don't know, mate. You're the one that watched the documentary.
I forgot what they're called. Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
Is how they're sort of the first sort of recorded hip hop sort of troupe, let's say, and how everyone else just considers them a bit of a joke because they like one of the guys sort of stole some rhymes, even though he's rhyming about stealing rhymes and don't do it. Like it's a bit of a joke, but that's sort of seen as like one of the very first hip hop tracks that's been put down on tape.
Well,
really interesting. Really great 4-part.
Well, like we say, it kind of leads on from, well, blues music, and that chain gang music is the backbone of everything we know in popular music. Obviously, from pop music to soul, funk music, hip hop to rock and to metal and beyond. It's the backbone of everything. That's why I find it this kind of interesting loop that what going back to Zeal Ardor does. He's bringing two things that seem totally disconnected from each other, but in fact have a lot of integrated DNA.
It's so connected.
One is where the other one comes from. So it's an interesting kind of statement, historical statement that he's doing in a way as well. But hip hop, again, obviously, perhaps more so than any other, it all comes from blues music and so on and so forth.
That's it.
Wicked.
That's it, man. I think that's it. We've sort of recovered our week.
Yeah, we'll try and get another one out soon. We're looking at perhaps doing a midway through the year, review of the year so far, where we might be bringing in a special guest. We might be doing our perhaps top 5 films of the year so far.
Something like that, yeah.
I'll be doing my top 5 albums of the year so far because I've already got I think I've already got a top 20 list.
I think we've heard them all.
No, I haven't even talked about quickly. I'll say, hey, the new Paramore album is really good. It's just pop music, just pop music, but it's really fucking catchy. Who'd have thought that? The new Mutoid Man album, I'd say go listen to. I've just done my review for Clunk Magazine, so you'll be seeing that go up soon. Yeah, the Mutoid Man and their new album's called War Moans, and it is this intense psychedelic fusion of prog rock, metal, and hardcore punk into a really kind of really dynamic, really fast-paced, catchy, hook-led little collection of songs. I think it's another surprise. I didn't really know Mutoid Man much before I got sent the album.
He sounds like an interesting fellow.
Who, Mutoid Man?
Yeah, that's a great name.
It's a 3-piece trio of Caven, Stephen Brodsky, Converge drummer Ben Colner, and a bassist who I'm not as familiar with. But those guys, their individual projects have always been amazing. Caven, a great band. Converge, I think, are the best extreme band in punk, hardcore, and metal ever. The best album, Jane Doe, over there is one of the finest examples of extreme music of all time. And he is a drummer of some prowess. And Stephen Brodsky he knows how to weave in a badass riff and a really catchy vocal harmony. And it's a really good little album. Another surprise for the year.
Good little album.
We've been having some killer rock music. It's been a good year so far. So I look forward to talking about that kind of thing on our catch-up
review thing.
Catch-up review of the year.
That's it. Let's leave it for now.
Obviously, we've still got our American Gods,
which is coming to the end.
We've got 2 more episodes. So our episode 7 review will be up in tandem with this, hopefully. Slightly
delayed, been away and all things.
Martin's been partying on the other side of the country. He's been having a great time. He's going to be 32 soon, so... Is it?
Pushing it.
30, 28, 28.
28, yeah.
Is it? No, you're 28 now.
Yeah, carry on.
So he's going to be 29. Happy birthday to him. Yeah, so when we do our next podcast, he'll be an old man.
Old man with old man jeans.
Wicked.
But yeah, let's check it out. And check out our friends over at Clunk.
Yeah, and check us out on all our social medias. Facebook and...
Twitter and Insta and...
Yeah, I'm going to start getting back on the... I'm going to get back on the Twitter. So keep an eye out for that, guys.
Keep an eye out for us. And like we say, get in contact with us.
Get in contact with us, please.
Yeah, be our friend.
We don't have many.
No, we've got 0. But until then... Bye.
Yeah, whatever.